Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to continue our exploration of Geometry Reader. So let's go ahead and create our new comment for example 2 so we can get started with something new. Alright, let's go back, and I'm going to create first body to let Xcode relax a bit. Alright, so what we're going to do next is basically we saw how flexible Geometry Reader can be, but there are some truly amazing things it can do. For example, it can create real dynamic views that can adapt to various styles. Let's go ahead and build a 3-column flexible grid using Geometry Reader. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to first create an array of items. So let's create a variable called items. We're going to create an array of 1 to 20 items, and we will map them and create a simple string. Okay, we're going to call these just simple items. Okay, printing their name or the number as the item. So we're going to populate all the items. So this becomes our data. Then we're going to create a column variable. We're going to have 3-column grid layout. So we're just going to add 3 here. And let's create another one for spacing. So we're going to have equal spacing or spacing set between different cells, and that's going to be about 10 points. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that one. Now we are going to basically create our Geometry Reader, and we get our geometry proxy. I'm going to call this Geo this time, and we're going to create a scroll view. Inside the scroll view, first we're going to compute the width of the item, and then we're going to compute the width based on the total available width from the geometry proxy itself, and we're going to subtract the spacing and number of columns that we need to see. Okay, and we're going to basically divide this by number of columns. So first we're going to compute the total width, divide total width by number of columns we need, and that'll give us each individual item's width. Now it sounds complicated, but it's very easy. So we're just gonna say item width, and item width is gonna come from geometry proxy.size.width. Now we want to compute the total width first, so we want to make sure we actually take spacing into consideration as well, times this with CG float value for number of columns minus 1. So that will give us total number of columns, and we're going to divide the whole thing with a CG float of columns. So this will give us the total width for each individual item in the cell. Okay, now once we have the width, we're going to simply create a lazy V grid. Okay, we're gonna get the columns, and columns are gonna basically come from grid item. And actually, you know what, easiest thing is, let's create a function here, grid items. We're gonna get the width of CG float type, and we will return a grid item array. Okay, that'll make it easy, and we are simply going to create an array repeating grid item, and this is going to be a fixed width, and the spacing, let's go ahead and set the spacing as well. Spacing is going to be based on the spacing value, and the count is basically going to be number of columns, how many number of grid items or columns we need. So this is going to be column. Okay, actually we should call it columns. There we go. Now it's easier for us to just simply call this grid items and provide the item width. Okay, so this will give us number of columns that we want to render on the screen. Okay, the only thing that we are interested in is spacing. So we're gonna give it a spacing and remove the alignment value. So let's go ahead and remove that. And we are also not interested in any of the other things like pinned view and stuff. So we're just gonna remove all that and create a closure. Inside this, we're gonna create our for each. Okay, this for each is going to iterate over each item that we have created up here, and we're gonna ID them by self because these are all string values. They can actually, my string is hashable, so they'll actually be able to create a hash value for each of the item, creating a unique string that can be identified inside the for each. And now we can simply create a text view here. And we're going to say text item. Let's set the frame height, and let's set the height as 100 points. Set the frame max width, and we're going to set this as infinity. Okay, and let's also give it a background, and we're going to give a background. Set it as blue, and clip shape radius, rect with radius as 20 points. Let's see if yeah, actually it's clip shape dot rect. Come on, Xcode. Corner radius, maybe I think it's corner radius. Corner radius. And let's give it 8 point. Let's see if this works. Okay, there we go. So this is better. Let's give it 10 points, actually 10 points. It's gonna look a little bit better. And yeah, so these are all the items. Now let's go ahead and add some padding, and we're gonna add some padding around the geometry reader, so we have a little bit of breathing room. So as you can see that we have this nice grid, and if I go ahead and show you the variant, you're gonna notice that this grid is dynamically gonna compute and show 3-column layout for even the landscape value as well. Okay, so this is how easy it is for you to create a dynamic layout using GeometryReader. So you can see it now here. In this case, we combine three views. There's a GeometryReader container view, there is a scroll view, and we have created a lazy V grid, computing or putting all together to create this evenly spaced grid view, a flexible grid view. Now, let's go ahead and explore another example. Now, in this example, we will create a card view, and we're going to use proportional element to basically lay out our card. Okay, so before we do that, let's go ahead and take all of this and create our next example. So this was example 3, and let's go ahead and get our next example ready. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna once again create a card view with proportional elements based on available space. Let's start with GeometryReader. Okay, we get geometry proxy. All right, now we have our view ready. So we're going to start putting it together. We're going to first create a VStack. Let's remove all the spacing. So by default, there is a spacing applied. We're going to remove that spacing. And what we're going to do is inside this, we're going to add an image. I have some images that I've already put it inside the asset catalog, so I can actually simply reach them by calling by their name, their resource name. So photo 1 in this case is what I'm using. Let's make this image resizable. Let's make it scale to fill, and let's set the frame with height as geometry proxy .size.height times 0.6, meaning 60% of the height is what we want to cover for this image. And let's go ahead and clip whatever is the rest of the non-visible area. Okay, now underneath this, we want to display the content for the view. Now this content is going to take the rest of the 40% of the space. So we're going to create our VStack with alignment as leading, and we're going to have our text. Let's say card title. It could be anything, maybe devtechie.com. Like that. Okay, let's set the font as headline, and what we're going to do is we're going to set some text, some large text. So this is a card with proportional sizing based on the available space in GeometryReader. The image takes 60% and content takes remaining 40%. Okay, let's set the font for this guy as maybe subheadline, and set the foreground style as orange dot shadow. Let's go ahead and use drop shadow with radius as 2. Okay, and underneath this, we're gonna create a spacer and an H stack. Now inside the H stack, we're gonna create a spacer again. And under that, we're going to create a text view, make it look like a learn more button. So learn more, and let's give it a font caption, foreground style as blue dot gradient. Let's add some padding in the vertical direction as 8 points, padding in the horizontal direction as 12 points, some background, blue color with opacity 0.2, and let's clip shape, rect with corner radius as 4 points. All right, let's go ahead and add some padding and add frame with height as geometry.size.height times 0.4. Let's go ahead and fix this typo here, and then we have, like, rest of the 40% goes into this. What we're gonna do next is gonna add some background, of white color, and let's give it clip shape. Let's use this right here. So I'm going to copy this, paste it right here. Corner radius, let's give it 20 points. Let's drop shadow with a radius 5. Give this a frame, and the frame's height is going to be 500 points. Okay, and let's add some padding around this. All right, there we go. Now our view is refreshed, and this is the card that we have created. Now you can see that this card right here is taking up, like, the proportional size, where our image is big and our view is small. If you change the different type of your, different type of the phone, this is, I think we're using iPhone 16 Pro. Let's say if you take Pro Max, the proportion is going to increase basically based on the width. Okay, height is gonna remain same, but this is how you can essentially create more interactive, adaptable card views, nice looking card views using GeometryReader to create proportional sizing. Okay, all right. Now we have a few more examples that we are left with. 3 in particular. I want to show you how you can use GeometryReader to create a custom tab bar and tab bar highlighter. So when you select certain tab bar, there's a highlighter that actually moves around. So a couple of examples of that, and a more complex use case where you can use GeometryReader with the preference key. Okay, so those are 2 examples that we need to see. So let's go ahead and hop on to the next video, and we're going to cover them up. Thank you.